Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Sunday football games as the Houston Texans will take on the Kansas City Chiefs. It's set to be a cold, clear day in Kansas City as the Chiefs are 9.5-point favorites to take on the Texans, which means the Texans very well might win our simulation game based on Saturday's games. If you guys haven't checked those out, I highly recommend doing so. But I will probably spoil the endings here just now. So, the Saturday games were very interesting as both the underdogs teams dominated their respective games. Both the 6 seeds won handily. The Titans and the Vikings dominated the 49ers and the Ravens. And now the biggest underdogs of the entire weekend, the Houston Texans, have to take on Travis Kelce, Patty Mahomes, and the Kansas City Chiefs. And the big question is whether or not this will also end up being the same result as we've seen in the last 2 games, or will Kansas City, the favorites, actually be able to pull off the win? As the Chiefs look like they have won the coin toss and chosen to defer, which means that the Houston Texans will receive the kickoff to start the game. And here come the Chiefs. A big kickoff there as that will go back, and a knee is taken by the Houston Texans. So a very, very, very close game last week, but Deshaun Watson pulled off the unthinkable. He beat the Buffalo Bills in real life. However, in our simulation, the Texans weren't so lucky. The Bills were able to slide through with a win. It was still a close game, but Deshaun Watson and the Houston Texans lost our simulation game. However, they won in real life, so here they are against the Kansas City Chiefs in Kansas City. And the question is, will they play better? Because, again, the Vikings lost our simulation against the Saints, but they dominated the 49ers in their game. So anything can happen in Madden football. And it'll be interesting to see what they have. As Nick Martin is about ready to send the ball back to Watson, he hands the ball off, breaking a tackle, and takes it up to about the 28-yard line. So, here is the big-time Houston Texans offense. As this team has been very, very good. DeAndre Hopkins has 1,165 yards receiving, 7 touchdowns. And the starting running back, Carlos Hyde, 1,070 yards rushing and 6 touchdowns. But Will Fuller will very likely be out in this game. We're not sure. He is in the bottom part of the screen. We're not 100% certain whether Will Fuller will be unable to play in this game or not. He is likely going to be out with an injury, though. But I'm not really 100% certain. He is questionable. He has a groin injury as of 2 hours ago. It is questionable whether or not Will Fuller will be able to play in this game. There's the fake handoff by Watson. Watson throws over the middle, and he's got a man. Past the 50-yard line is, Kenny Stills? Yep, Kenny Stills for 19 yards and a Houston Texans first down as Thornhill gets the tackle there. So a big starting drive for Houston as they make a very good statement. The Kansas City Chiefs have been very, very good since Patty Mahomes' return from injury. There's a throw over the middle. He gets it to Kyle Fuller and down at, or Will Fuller the 5th. So I don't know why I said Kyle Fuller. That's a corner. But gets it to Will Fuller the 5th out of Notre Dame. He's probably the best player on this team, let's be real. That's why they struggled so much against the Bills, but having him back obviously will definitely help out quite a bit. As now in the pistol come the Houston Texans. Throws it over to Hopkins, who gets a couple yards. And here is the Chiefs' defense. Chris Jones, T-Sizzle. They've got, Hitchens, not exactly the most dominant linebacking core. And, of course, the Honey Badger and Thornhill. But Kansas City kind of known for not playing very much defense. This very well could be a very high-scoring game. However, the Houston Texans have a pretty solid defense that's, they've got J.J. Watt back in the lineup. I believe he's active. I don't know if they've updated it or not. And there's a big hit as Hopkins can't hang on to the football after that. And that'll be Watson's first incomplete pass of the game. But I will say this is a big-time game for Houston and Kansas City. The Chiefs, weren't able to make the Super Bowl last year as they lost in overtime against the Patriots due to overtime rules being what they are. The Patriots scored a touchdown and they won the game. And, with the Titans beating the Ravens in our simulation, I think the Chiefs have a real good chance at making at least the Super Bowl in terms of our simulation. But we don't know. Next round will be the real-life results, so perhaps the Ravens will play the Chiefs, but who knows. 3-0 Houston, and they kick the field goal by Fairbairn, and that will be nice and good. So Patty Mahomes will get the football down by 3. Now, if we do look at the game earlier this season, the Houston Texans played against the Kansas City Chiefs and beat Kansas City. That was a big-time loss for the Kansas City Chiefs. Patty Mahomes did really, pretty well. He had 3 touchdowns and interception, 273 yards. He had 16 incompletions. Meanwhile, Deshaun Watson had 280 yards, a touchdown, and 2 picks. So despite, having 2 interceptions, the Houston Texans were able to come through. Carlos Hyde had 116 yards rushing and a touchdown. And I think that's ultimately where the turning point was, because LaShawn McCoy only 44 yards rushing for the Kansas City Chiefs. And to take the pressure off of the legend that is Patty Mahomes, you've got to be able to run the football and take that pressure off of Patrick and get him, some time. But the second quarter was really the turning point as the Houston Texans scored 20 points in the second quarter, just absolutely dominating at the point of attack in the second quarter. They really made some stuff happen, and it was really, really good for them. And it was also here at Kansas City that happened. That was Kansas City's big home loss. So if any team can do it, I think the Houston Texans very well could, as the Kansas City Chiefs, lost 3 of their 4 games at home. I believe their only loss was against the Colts. I think the Colts game was on the road, but I can't quite remember. I do apologize if I'm inaccurate, but there is Patty Mahomes stepping back in the pocket, throws to Travis Kelce, who gets it to the 47-yard line, and that puts Patty Mahomes at 20 yards passing as the clock ticks to under 10.5. Well, the Kansas City Chiefs are huge favorites in this game. I would not be surprised at all to see them kind of whip up on Houston, but the Houston Texans did have Kansas City's number with a healthy team last time, so some big question marks on whether or not the Chiefs can get stuff done. As there is Tyreek Hill, breaks a couple of tackles. I thought he was going to outrun the corner there. He's just so fast, and that's a big catch and run there for 28. Tyreek Hill is going to be very, very difficult to cover. I mean, that goes without saying. He's probably the fastest player in the NFL today, and he has just been so dynamic for this Chiefs offense. It's great to see him back on the field after some off-field issues last season kept him out, and earlier in the season as well, as McKinney gets a huge sack there for Houston, and that's going to bring up a 2nd and 18. But I will say that the Houston Texans are very big, very good on the road. They were, of course, again, able to win this game. They weren't expected to win. I believe the Chiefs were like 70% favorites in that game as well, if I remember correctly. They were heavy favorites to beat the Houston Texans at home, and they weren't able to get the job done. And Part of the reason, again, is LaShawn McCoy couldn't establish himself running the football. He couldn't take any pressure off of Patty Mahomes, and because of that, they really weren't able to establish any sort of game. And that is going to be, I thought it was picked off, but the receiver having to play a little bit of defense there forces a 4th and 19, and the Chiefs very well might have to kick a field goal. It would be like a 50-yard field goal attempt if they do kick it. That was good defensive play by the wideout, and that is a 51-yard field goal by the Chiefs. And there's the kick up, and it is good. Tie game, 3-3, Chiefs and Texans, 8:19 to go first quarter. So look at that, a tie game this early. Man, that's crazy. We might finally have a game on our hands after the last two were utter domination. But I will say there is glory in domination. We had Dalvin Cook play an absolutely outstanding 292-yard rushing performance. We had Correa play absolutely terrific last game with terrific defensive play by the Tennessee Titans. There is some nice things that come out of blowout defeats. And we like to sit through and see what we've got, but you gotta love actual close games, and this one is so far shaping up to be good. But I don't want to. I'm just gonna knock on wood real fast to make sure that we don't jinx ourselves. I like to see these close, hard-fought games, and Deshaun Watson and the Texans have an opportunity here to make something happen. Well, Deshaun Watson stepping back in the shotgun at his own 20. The ball is at the 25, but he's at the 20. Throws it. I don't really know if that was to Hopkins or if that was to the underneath route, but regardless, it was very much inaccurate, and that'll bring up 2nd and 10 from their own 25-yard line. The Houston Texans really struggled in the first half against the Buffalo Bills, and honestly, I'd even dare to say that they would not have won that game if the Bills did not self-destruct themselves and really lose it for themselves. And that was a big juke move, and he could go. He's at the 40, and he barely gets caught up to, and that puts it all the way to the 36-yard line. Duke Johnson had a big game against the Buffalo Bills last week. He really played a lot more time. He was able to get a lot of big plays going, especially in the second half, and he's off to a really good start. That incredible juke move there was just stellar, as now Deshaun Watson and the Houston Texans line up here, single backfield from the 36-yard line. Stepping back is Watson, throws, and dropped by Hopkins. He wasn't hit. That's a surprising drop considering how, not only how high overall he is, but just he is DeAndre Hopkins. Like, that's a wide open short play. But as you can see, 9 passes, only 1 run play for the Houston Texans so far. And there's a dump pass over. I believe that's Duke Johnson again. And a short play there for 8. 3rd and 2. Duke Johnson with 47 yards receiving on this drive. He has been very helpful for Houston to get down the field as they have the ball inside the 30. Deshaun Watson needs 2. Sending his running back out wide. Getting back, throwing to his check down tight end. I believe that's what, Noah Fant? No? No, it's not. Fells. There you go. As Fells makes the catch, and that is going to be a 1st and 10 from the 20. The Houston Texans line up in the shotgun. They have been throwing the ball very effectively so far, and why stop now as they throw the ball to Hopkins, who gets it inside the 5 to the 3-yard line, and that's going to set up 1st and goal for the Houston Texans. Hopefully my knocking on wood worked, and the Chiefs won't, allow a touchdown and then get destroyed offensively. But there's a big play there to Hopkins, and that's going to set them up in the I formation. They're going to try and, I think, run the ball here. They will, and he breaks a tackle, but he doesn't get any yards rushing there as Carlos Hyde is stopped for no gain. Wilson comes in on the tackle. Tyrann Mathieu was also there, as the Houston Texans will have 2nd and goal from the 3. 5.5 to play, first quarter. Gets ready, and Hopkins is wide open. Yep, that's a touchdown. He absolutely annihilated the cornerback on that play. It was not even close. And Hopkins gets in the end zone. As you can see from this play, there was nobody around him. He just ran the slant route to perfection, and that is such a hard route to run, especially against zone defense as the Kansas City Chiefs were on that play. It's one of the most difficult routes to defend in the NFL, and in zone defense, it's even more difficult because it goes through multiple different zones, and when people go through multiple different zones, it is very hard to have that kind of communication to get people to cover their zone, especially if they have multiple people in their zone. But in this specific instance, when you have such a short field, it can be very hard to stop a slant pass like that, especially because you're trying to focus. They could potentially run the football. They could potentially pass the ball to one of their other targets. But Hopkins, of all people, needs to make sure that dude is covered, because he is just such a dynamic player that even if he's covered, he can make plays. But when he's wide open, you won't see him drop the pass like he did earlier very often. As here comes Fairbairn and the Houston Texans up 10-3. And the ball is sailing on him to the Chiefs about 10-yard line. And he takes it to the 28-yard line. And Kansas City will have possession of the football with 5 minutes to go in the first quarter as Patrick Mahomes makes his way out onto the field. And what a dynamic quarterback is Patrick Mahomes. He bursts onto the scene in his sophomore year, and now entering his 3rd season, he has an opportunity here to potentially go to the Super Bowl. Patrick throws out to his running back, gets it to about the 29 for a yard gain. As we're finally going to get to see the Chiefs' offense after so long. Pretty solid offensive line, and Watkins and Hill has just been a terrific tandem at the wide receiving core, along with, of course, Travis Kelce, the team leader in yards with 1,229 on 97 receptions. Patrick Mahomes in the shotgun. Steps back, has time, throws. He's got a man. It's Watkins, and he gets it to about the 41, maybe the 42, close to the 42. About 4 minutes and 20 seconds and counting for the Chiefs in the first quarter. Obviously, there's still plenty of time left in the half. Lining up under center, single backfield for the Chiefs. They set back. They fake the handoff on the play action. I don't think anyone bit, and he throws the ball away. As the Texans defense lining up here, there is, in fact, J.J. Watt. He had a pretty solid game coming back against the Bills. He made some big plays at the end of that game, and he is the heart and soul of this defense. He can really make something happen. I think one of the things that doesn't get talked about a lot is morale. You know, the morale, rallying the troops, and that team leader. And J.J. Watt being back in the lineup is absolutely massive for that. And I think a lot of people discount it. They're like, oh, J.J. Watt's back. He's sort of healthy. You know, he might make a couple of tackles, but he's not going to impact the game that much. But in my opinion, I think that's very much where you're wrong, because I think J.J. Watt, just his leadership, his enthusiasm, the way he goes about it, getting J.J. Watt back into the lineup, if you watch that Houston Texans team in the second half, I honestly think J.J. Watt must have said something, he done something to really put that team on his back and really give that team the boost that they need. But there is another deep pass to Sammy Watkins, and the drive is just running through here. But on top of that, the way that he played at the end of that game, the major sack, some big-time pressure, some big tackles behind the line of scrimmage. He made some terrific plays for the Houston Texans defense and really ultimately could have potentially won the game for the team. Tossing it over is Kelsey, who gets it to about the 20-yard line. The Chiefs want to try and get it in the end zone and tie the game up. This could be a very high-scoring game, as both of these offenses are just they have so many weapons. They're so dynamic. And the Chiefs' defense is not exactly the most impressive thing in the entire world. Here comes Patrick Mahomes. Throws. Got a man. Gets it inside the 5, and they'll count it at the 1. I think he fell into the end zone there on that play, as Bell gets it to be marked down at the 1-yard line. I'm not sure. I thought that maybe he actually did fall forward into the end zone, but they mark him down. Patrick Mahomes steps up, and there is Travis Kelce. Touchdown, Kansas City. And we got a game on our hands here, boys and girls. It's been good after a couple of rough games, but this game is up to 10-10 if they get the extra point. Obviously, you can't assume that they get the extra point, but every extra point so far in these playoffs have been good. Not just, I think, in real life as well, if I remember correctly. I don't think anyone missed an extra point in the playoff games last week, but definitely in the Madden games. As a 10-10 score with less than 2 minutes in the first quarter, Travis Kelce gets into the end zone. Very, very good play there, as Suggs giving him a nice little handshake. J.J. Watt talking to his teammates, and Deshaun Watson winding up, ready to go and try and get this Houston Texans team moving, as Andy Reid has never really quite gotten where he needs to be. You know, this guy has done a lot of stuff in his time in the NFL, but winning a Super Bowl would be big for this man's legacy. And if he has a hell of a team to do it. As Houston to return the kick, they take a kneel down in the end zone. And Deshaun Watson will take over at the 25-yard line. He's missed only 3 passes so far in this game. And he's got such a dynamic, powerful offense. You know, both of these teams do, really. And they're just clubbing each other back and forth. And I have a feeling that we'll see that most of the game. Stepping back is Watson. Throws over the middle. He's got Fuller, and he takes it to about the 32-yard line for 7. They really missed Will Fuller the 5th in their last game, and he's questionable to return for the Chiefs game. But Madden has him healthy, so Madden has him active for this game, so we'll have to see if Will Fuller will truly be inactive for this game against the Kansas City Chiefs or not, but he has made a couple of decent plays here. Fakes the handoff, looks, and he finds his tight end for a big chunk of yards to the 42-yard line. Well, Houston's off to a better first half start than they did in the last game against Buffalo. They were very lucky at the end of that game to be able to come out alive, as Buffalo was dominating the game in the first half. But then they just couldn't do anything in the second half. I don't even necessarily think it was second half adjustments by Houston and Bill O'Brien, but I honestly think that it was more so the just terrible offensive play by the Buffalo Bills. But regardless, Thomas with a 16-yard catch, and the Houston Texans are at least proving that they can play well, as at the first quarter's end, it's 10-10. There's no goose eggs on the board. There's no zeros. So that's a plus, as the score is tied at 10. The Houston Texans have the football in Kansas City territory I think that this game very well will come down to mistakes, and I think Houston is more mistake-prone than Kansas City, and that gives Kansas City the advantage. Honestly, I still take the points, though. I still think that the Texans will lose by less than 9.5. If I had to put my money on anything, I'd say probably 7, maybe 6 points being the difference between these two teams, and not 9.5, but we'll have to see as Deshaun Watson steps back in the shotgun here. He's got a single backfield. Looking, has time, throws to the middle of nowhere, and that one's incomplete. Well, not exactly the best play, but that's going to bring up 3rd down and 4. In the shotgun, only 2 running plays for Houston in this game so far. And he throws the ball away here, and will they kick the field goal? This one will probably be about, what, a 52, 53-yard field goal attempt? And it looks like they will send Fairbairn onto the field. 53-yarders. And the kick is up. And it's good. 53 yards. Fairbairn knocks it through. 13-10 Houston. Wow, that was a deep kick. And that could be important later. You know, that the field goal kicking could be the difference between these two teams. Who knows? But that's a big 3 points right there, especially in a tie game, to put Houston ahead in this one. And you know, 53-yard kick is certainly difficult to achieve as well. So Fairbairn got to be happy with that one, as Kansas City will look to try and one-up that and get in the end zone on this drive, though. Yeah, I mean, for as you know, far back as they were, they'll take the 3 points, 100%. And there is a knee in the end zone is Kansas City. And the Chiefs will get the ball at the 25 as Patrick Mahomes leads the boys and the troops out onto the field. Ready and raring to go as there is Sammy Watkins, Tyreek Hill, and this dynamic Chiefs offense. Stepping back, they run the ball with McCoy, and he's blasted. Or that's Williams, my apologies. Williams got the ball. They've only allowed 8 yards rushing. Both teams haven't run the ball almost at all on this in this game. Patrick Mahomes in the shotgun. Hands the ball off. Had a little bit of space, but made maybe a preemptive juke move as McKinney gets the tackle on Williams once again. That's his 3rd tackle, 2nd one of this drive. As that'll bring up 3rd down and 3. Now, do you run the football again here, or do you throw the football? I think you throw it here, but Patrick Mahomes in the shotgun. He is indeed going to throw the football. Throws it deep. He's got a man. And it's caught by Sammy Watkins. What a huge catch by Sammy, and that's going to be a 1st down for Kansas City at the 32-yard line. A huge play there. Wow, what a grab. And Patrick Mahomes, someone you don't want to get in the zone, is feeling it. Throws, gets it to Kelsey, who gets it to the 26-yard line, 25-yard line for 6 yards. That's his 4th catch of the game as Patrick Mahomes lines up the troops in the huddle. About 12 minutes to go in the first half. It's a 3-point game, and they've got pretty good field position here. That's one of the toughest parts of this Kansas City football team is their ability to make big plays. As Williams gets it to about the 16-yard line for a 1st down. And there's a nice little running play. Something they weren't really able to do the first time against Houston. If they are able to take some pressure off Patty Mahomes, where Patty doesn't have to make every single play, I think that'll be a definitely in Kansas City's favor. They step back. They hand the ball off once again. Not exactly the best ball handling there, as he just he's just one-handing, running it down the field, not even cradling the ball at all. But he gets it to the 3. Look at him run. That is so easy to hit out of his hands. Not a very smart decision, but it doesn't hurt him at all, at least for now. Patrick Mahomes sends a man in motion. It's Kelsey. Hands the ball off here, and he's stopped in his tracks for about a yard gain, 2nd and goal. Down at the 2. About 10 minutes first half. Patrick Mahomes under center. Single backfield. Snaps the ball, hands it, and touchdown. That is LaShawn McCoy getting into the end zone for the Chiefs touchdown. And the Chiefs will take the lead with that one, pending the extra point. A 4-point Kansas City lead with the Texans getting the ball. Yep, look at that ball handling. I would be terrified if I was Kansas City. I'd look at that tape and let that guy know that he's being a complete idiot by handling the ball so carelessly. But so far, it hasn't come back to bite him in the butt yet. And that is going to be a 17-13 Kansas City lead with less than 10 minutes to go in the first half. 74 yards in a little less than a half minutes, as Patrick Mahomes and this Chief offense has scored on every possession. 2 touchdowns and a field goal so far. But the Houston Texans have also scored on every possession so far. 2 field goals and a touchdown. But they're being outscored here. And the Chiefs did kick off to start the game, so that means the Chiefs will receive to start the second half, which could be very, very big in a close game like this, especially if Houston can't seem to grab the lead and has to kick a field goal. Butker kicks it off, and they'll start returning it at about the 6-yard line. Gets it out past the 25 to the 28-yard line. 29-yard line they'll mark him down at. And that'll bring Deshaun Watson back out onto the field for another drive here. Deshaun Watson has played well to this point, but they're going to need a little bit more if they want to be able to win this game, as there's T-Sizzle trying to make it to the Super Bowl. He very well could face his former team in real life in the AFC title game if the Chiefs and Ravens do in fact win. He would have to face the Baltimore Ravens to make it to the Super Bowl. Watson throws over past the 35 to the 36-yard line for 8 yards. 177 yards of offense, 174 of them passing. You know, if I'm Houston, I'd keep throwing the football, to be honest. I mean, they can't stop it in this game so far. Only 3 rushing yards for Houston. They hand the ball off. He gets the first down at least, and he picks up about 5. And that is going to be a nice little scamper for a first down. As the Houston Texans down by 4. Stepping back is Watson, and oh my goodness, that was almost intercepted by the linebacker. Hitchens could have potentially made a huge play and turned this game right around into Kansas City's favor. But they get away with it there. 2nd and 10, single backfields. Watson under center. They hand the ball off, and it is stuffed. Carlos Hyde gets absolutely nowhere as Wilson makes the tackle. And that's going to bring up 3rd and 13 for Houston. And you don't really want to punt down by 4 against Patrick Mahomes. In a shootout like this, punting is not helpful, and he throws it right to the dirt, and they're going to have to punt. And they're going to have to trust their defense to stop Patrick Mahomes from making at least another field goal. I mean, a field goal wouldn't be the end of the world, but they need to make sure he stays out of the end zone, and that is very difficult to do against Patrick Mahomes. And there is the punt by Houston out the back of the end zone, and it will be taken to the 20-yard line. So Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs coming out onto the field. As you can see, only 2 incompletions, 156 yards and a touchdown. And the big play ability that we know and love from this Kansas City team has come into play, and Sammy Watkins has been a big part of that. If you're Houston, you need to avoid the big play at all costs. He's going to make some passes. He's Patrick Mahomes. He's probably the best quarterback in the league right now statistically. I mean, of course, Lamar Jackson is very dynamic and has that ability to run the football. But in terms of just pure quarterback play, Patrick Mahomes is probably the best pure quarterback in the entire league. He's so dynamic. He had over 4,000 yards passing this season and 26 touchdowns. And he missed about, 3 or 4 games and still threw for 4,031 yards. So he's on track for 5K, and Watkins almost made another big play, and that's what I'm talking about right there. He catches that. This game could get out of hand real fast if he keeps up that kind of play. But the Chiefs aren't able to connect, and that's going to bring up 3rd and 9, a big 3rd and 9 here for Houston. You cannot allow the first down. You need to get the ball back. You're losing this football game, and Patty Mahomes needs to not get in a rhythm. Looking, has time in the pocket, and he's got a man, and it's incomplete. Good defensive effort there at the end of that one to force Tyreek Hill to drop it, and that is going to be a 4th and 9 situation for Bill O'Brien and the Houston Texans. It looked like he had it for a moment, but it was knocked free by the corner, and the Chiefs are going to punt the football with less than 7 minutes in the first half. And breaking a couple tackles, takes it to the outside, gets a solid about 8 or so yards on the return. What looked like was going to be a return that went nowhere, but he picks up almost 10 yards. And there is Deshaun Watson, 15 completions on 22 attempts, 174 yards and a touchdown. A really good start to the game for both of these quarterbacks. But back-to-back punts as things stall out a little bit in this one. The Kansas City Chiefs still have the lead, but Deshaun Watson and the Houston Texans could change that if they can make a couple of big plays. Will Fuller and DeAndre Hopkins are on the same side of the field, and that could be a bit dangerous, but he throws and almost intercepted, intended for Kenny Stills. That was very sketchy, but once again falls innocently to the turf. That was the second pass I think probably very well could have been picked off that the Chiefs haven't been able to hold. That could very well have completely changed this game in Kansas City's favor. Watson, he's going to run with it. He has space and gets it to the 44-yard line. 6 yards there for Watson. He's a very dynamic dual-threat quarterback. As the Chiefs' defense is going to have to try and hold them on 3rd and 4 from their own 44-yard line. Watson in the shotgun, and I believe that's a false start on the right tackle. And indeed it is. As he jumps too early, and that's going to set up a 3rd and 9.
Still 3rd down.
That is very much not what you want to see in this kind of situation, as that's going to be a big 5 yards there after such a good run by Watson. This is going to make this 3rd down attempt a lot more difficult. Hopkins one-on-one on the outside here. And Watson gets sacked by Wilson. 4th down. And with under 6 minutes to go in the first half, Watson tried to make something happen here, and he ran right into the face of the defense. And they're going to have to punt the football away for the second consecutive drive. Such a good start to the game for both of these offenses, but things kind of went downhill as the ball goes into the end zone, and Kansas City will have the ball at the 20-yard line. Patrick Mahomes makes his way out onto the field, and he has been a pretty solid player for this team so far. He's done a lot, but on the last drive, they weren't able to get anything big going, and they're going to need to make something happen here from the 20-yard line if they want to get a nice lead going into the half. And, of course, they get the football to start the second half, so that's always good for KC. Patrick Mahomes steps back, has a little bit of time. J.J. Watt gets him, though, and J.J. Watt with the sack. And a big-time sack there for J.J. Watt, and you'll love to see this guy back in the lineup for Houston. He is just such a dynamic player. J.J. Watt double-teamed. Look at that. Double-teamed, spins around both guys and gets back there and takes down the quarterback. And that is why you love to see this guy in the lineup for Houston. He is just such a great player, a motivator, just an absolutely terrific football player. And despite injury after injury, he always puts his all out there every week. And the screen play set up here. And he gets it to about the 20, so they'll get back to about the line of scrimmage, the original line of scrimmage. And that'll bring up 3rd and 10. KC has an opportunity here with 4:46 to play in the first half to get a 2-possession lead and the football to start the second half. That was close. He almost had a big sack there, but he gets it to Kelsey, who takes it past the 42-yard line for 22 yards and a first down. And that is just how quickly this game can change. J.J. Watt with a big sack on first down, and 2 plays later, they have the ball 22 yards down the field from where they started the drive. As Patrick Mahomes can make some big plays. Looking, has time. Throws. Gets it to Tyreek Hill. Looked like the corner tried to intercept the pass and whiffed. And that gave Tyreek Hill the room he needed to get the first down. He's at 40 yards receiving on this game so far. And it's just so hard to take down this dynamic Chiefs offense, especially when your own offense can't get down the field and score on multiple tries. Patrick Mahomes steps back. Looks like he's going to run with it. And he runs right into the teeth of the defense, but he gets 7 yards out of that. And a big-time 2nd and 3 here for KC, as they played absolutely terrific football on that play. Patrick Mahomes is just so dynamic. He can even run with it if he needs to. He doesn't do it very often, but when he does, he gets a pretty good chunk of yards. They fake the handoff to Williams, and they get it to Kelsey out to about the 26-yard line. A touchdown here could really change the game in favor of the Kansas City Chiefs. As a big-time play by Travis Kelce gets it to the outside, and now Patrick Mahomes sitting at his 30-yard line in the shotgun. Steps back, has time, wide open to his other tight end, and he gets it to about the 11-yard line, first down, and the 2-minute warning is upon us in this one. As you can see, KC with the ball, the lead, and they get the ball to start the second half. So this could be a monumental score here if they get in the end zone. The Chiefs could end up getting a 3-possession lead really quickly. Stepping back is Mahomes, finds Kelsey, and he's tackled at about the 4-yard line, 2nd and 3. The Chiefs are in no rush here. 2nd and 3. They can get a first down inside the 1. About a minute and a half to play in the first half. Patrick Mahomes steps back. Looking, has time, throws, and he gets it to his receiver. Touchdown, Chiefs. And a couple of missed opportunities by Houston, and just like that, you can't keep the Chiefs out of the end zone for long as Robinson gets the touchdown catch, and pending the extra point, an 11-point lead. And they do get the ball to start the second half, so you got to believe Houston wants to try to get in the end zone, or at least kick a field goal and make this an 8-point game before halftime. But they're going to need some big plays to do it from their offense, who has stalled on their last 2 possessions. Because right now, the Kansas City Chiefs getting ready to kick off, up by 11. Andy Reid could punch his ticket to the AFC Championship game, where the Titans are at least temporarily waiting. And here comes the kick, as Houston will return it from about the 6-yard line. And he takes it out to about the 31-yard line with a minute and a half to play and 3 timeouts. That's plenty of time. But their last 2 possessions haven't exactly been the most complete. Missing a lot of opportunities, and as you can see, Terrell Suggs in the huddle, getting ready for another defensive possession. Deshaun Watson throws over to the tight end, who catches it for 2. Second down, 8 yards to go here. A minute 9. I think they're going to call a timeout, aren't they? No, they're going to snap the ball. And they throw deep, and he's got a man inside the opponent's territory, and a timeout by Houston. That's a huge play there for the Houston Texans. Kiki QT's second catch for 30 yards. And he has been absolutely terrific. Has Deshaun Watson been in this game? But they're down 11. Deshaun Watson steps back, has time, throws a dump pass over the middle to the running back for almost no yards and a timeout. Well, maybe I stand corrected. I spoke too soon, because that pass was not exactly super great. That is for sure. 51 seconds to tick off the clock. They need to at least get into field goal range and kick a field goal before the half. In the shotgun is Deshaun Watson. He has space, 3 receivers. They hand the ball off. Not exactly the best idea, as time will tick off the clock for Duke Johnson. They need to be able to throw the football into field goal range. They need about 10 yards to potentially make that kick. Probably more than that, maybe 15 if they could try. Watson in the shotgun, single backfield, looking, throws, and he's got a man. Oh, and he drops it. And that's a big drop there by Kiki QT, and that's going to set up 4th and 9, and they might very well punt the football here, down 11. You don't want to give Kansas City... Oh, they're going to kick a 60-yard field goal. Even better. Kyrie Fairbairn. There's no way. Yep, there's no way in hell that he kicks that. And at the 50-yard line, Patty Mahomes comes back with 17 seconds left. And if he gets a short pass here, they can kick a field goal themselves and go up by 14. Or they can just go for it all and score a touchdown here. Sounds very much like a Kansas City thing to do. Chiefs in the shotgun. Stepping back, has time. Looking downfield, throws deep, and he's got a... Oh, man, and that one is deflected Very good play by the corner there to stop that one, and that's going to bring up 2nd and 10 with 10 ticks to go off the clock. Kansas City has all 3 of their timeouts. They are not worried in the slightest. As Patrick Mahomes steps up from his own 45. The ball at the 50. Stepping back. Throws short. And there is a flag on the play. And that is a face mask on the defense. And that will put them right into field goal range. Oh, man. And with 5 seconds to go, I think that puts the Chiefs on the board for 3 more. Unless the Houston Texans can block the kick. And here it goes, a 41-yard kick. And here we go. It's up. And it's through the uprights. 14-point KC lead with a second to go. They will have to kick off. But the Chiefs receive the football with a 14-point lead to start the second half. And it was such a good start to the game. I really would prefer the Texans come back and make this one interesting, even if the Chiefs end up winning. But the Chiefs are a very, very powerful and good team. And after seeing back-to-back upsets, perhaps they do beat the 9.5-point spread that they're favored by. Right now, 14 points is the difference between KC and Houston. And that is going to lead us into the half, as Kansas City will return the kick to start the second half here. And the Houston Texans need some defensive football plays to go their way and to make something happen. They've only forced 1 punt. Just 1 punt in this game so far. And that has really been one of the difference makers in this football game, is they haven't been able to do very much of anything, to be honest, defensively to stop Patty Mahomes. As the Chiefs looking ready to return the kick. And Kyrie Fairbairn knocks it down the field from the 35. Returning the kick and down to about the 23, 24-yard line. And on the return is Hardman, and Patrick Mahomes works his way back out onto the field, and what a talented player he is in his 3rd season. You know, making waves here in the NFL as probably the most dynamic player in the entire league, and of course the cover athlete for Madden 20 as well. As now he steps back, fakes the handoff, and there's the blitz and a huge hit, and it doesn't count as a fumble, but McKinney, that looked very dangerously like he led with his shoulder on that play. If we watch that one again, he was unblocked, and I feel like he led with his shoulder. It very well could have been a illegal hit. But regardless, Patrick Mahomes goes down for a 7-yard sack here for 2nd and 17 from their own 17. And that was a huge defensive play by McKinney. Unblocked, very well-timed blitz. As the Chiefs offense did not see that coming. There's the dump pass to LaShawn McCoy. And you can tell it's him because he holds the ball like he's, 6 years old. Actually, I think 6-year-olds hold the ball better than that. He's just kind of holding it out there. That thing gets hit by the kneecap of a defender or something, and that thing is in the hands of the wrong team. But regardless, shotgun formation for Patrick Mahomes here. Stepping back, has time, throws deep, and he's going, almost intercepted. That one very well could have gone the other way, but Patrick Mahomes got a little bit lucky there. Look how deep he throws this football, but a little too deep as it goes right in the hands of number 20, and unfortunately, Reed wasn't able to get the football there. and intercept the pass as Watkins looked to try. Look, Watkins played defense pretty well there, honestly. He stuck the hand right between the hands of the defender, and that's a big-time stop for Houston. Houston needs to get in the end zone on this possession to at least make this a one-score game. But what a punt, and that's going to pin him at the 2-yard line. Wow, what an unbelievable punt from his own side of the field, and that one pins him at the 2. Unbelievable, and Deshaun Watson has to go 98 yards to get this in the end zone. The Houston Texans have been a little short on big plays, and after the first quarter, they've only scored 3 points. So they really need to try and make something going here in the third. They hand the ball to the fullback, who takes it for about 3 yards to the 5. Gillespie on the run. And Thornhill gets the tackle there. So second down, 7 to go to get the first down. The Houston Texans down by 2 touchdowns. They really, really need to get something going on this drive. Under center is Watkins. They throw it, or sorry, not Watkins, Watson. And Hopkins gets the football for 11 yards. That'll count as a running play, as it was caught behind the line. So a pretty decent run there for Hopkins. And that is going to bring up a 1st and 10 from the 16-yard line. In the shotgun, Watson hands the ball off to the running back, who makes a guy miss. He jukes out of the defender, but he didn't quite get all of it. And Duke Johnson sets up 2nd and inches, so a big running play there. He threw off a defender at the start of that and picked up 9.5. As Watson now, the ball is basically beyond the line here. And he's stuffed. T. Sizzle from Ball So Hard University with the sack. And he's making waves still. His old age isn't catching up to him, as he is just still dominant, strong, powerful. He absolutely dominates the tackle and gets to the quarterback. And even then, Jones was also in there on that one as well. So faking the handoff is Watson. Throws over the middle. He's got a wide open Kyle Fuller. Or not Kyle Fuller. Freaking Will Fuller the 5th. To the 40-yard line. I thought potentially was injured there for a second. But that puts him over 50 yards receiving on the day. So a big play there from Will Fuller. And now Deshaun Watson in the shotgun. From the 40. They're driving here. Sets up, fakes the handoff, finds Hopkins. That was a brilliant fake handoff as Hopkins was able to beat his man, and that's going to put him at over 50 yards receiving as well. Dynamic wide receiving core, Kiki QT, Kenny Stills, Watkins, Will Fuller. So many talented players from the Houston Texans receiving core, and there's a nice little throw backwards, and the juke ends up making him lose 2. Kiki QT can't get anything going on the Honey Badger. Tyrann Mathieu with the tackle. From the 47-yard line are the Houston Texans, and they really need to get the ball in the end zone to try and make this game a little bit better. I'd even start thinking about not kicking the field goal. It doesn't do you a lot of good, and there was a really failed attempt at a screenplay. Third and 12 from the 47-yard line come the Houston Texans. Deshaun Watson in the shotgun. He's attempted 30 passes and only 10 run plays. And he is stuffed. Clark with the sack, and that is huge. That'll set him back 4th and 22. And they're going to have to punt the football. So a solid start to the drive, but this is what happens when you punt the ball to the 2-yard line. They just need to make too many plays happen in order to get to the other side of the field to get in points range, and they just frankly couldn't do it. They couldn't complete it, and that's going to get hit at the 1 and go into the end zone for a touchback. And Anger really letting it out as he pins them back here. And Patrick Mahomes on his way out to the field here, and the score right now 27-13. Houston's defense has to make another stop against one of the top offenses in the NFL in Kansas City, and that is just going to be very hard to do. As the Chiefs fake the handoff, stepping back, has time, throws deep over the middle, and overthrows his target. And too much throw power on that one. As Patrick Mahomes had a man, but he just frankly overthrew it by about 10 yards. Just such a strong arm on Patty Mahomes. Shotgun formation for Patrick. Steps back, looking, has time, good protection, and he gets a yard. It's a yard pass play there to the running back as William gets his 4th catch for only 18 yards. Patrick Mahomes. Empty formation. This is where he can be very dangerous. Steps back, has time, looking, throws it deep over the middle, and he's got Tyreek Hill. First down past the 25-yard line, and that puts Patty over 300 yards passing on the day. And this man, look at this, he's just too fast. Nobody's going to catch up to Tyreek Hill on that one. And that puts him over 90 yards receiving. He just outruns the defender, and what can you do? Just too much talent on this Kansas City football team. KC steps back, looks over the middle, and he gets it to his target. I thought for sure that he would drop that pass, but the tight end holds on to it for a 2nd and 3. As McKinney makes the tackle here. And Bell gets 7. Patrick Mahomes, I formation here. And they run the ball, and a spin move doesn't get anywhere, and he's taken down. McKinney once again on the tackle. 3rd and 2. Kansas City up by 14. A field goal here would even put it a 3-possession game with 6 minutes to go in the 3rd. Make it very difficult for Houston to come back, but not impossible, as they did come back down 16 to the Buffalo Bills. Tyreek Hill loses a yard, and that will force the field goal unit to come on for the Kansas City Chiefs from the 16. This one's only going to be about a 33-yard kick, so it should be pretty much a chip shot for Butker. And they fake it, and he's stuffed. They fake the field goal, and he is just brought down immediately. No one faked out on that one. The rush gets to him. That was absolutely brutal. And the Houston Texans will take that. They'll have the ball at the 25-yard line. They're still only down 2 touchdowns. Getting the ball in the end zone here could still make this a football game. But they're going to need to make something happen here. Going to need a big play or two to really get into this game. Throws it to Hopkins. Hopkins has time. Gets it past the 1st down marker. Picks up 11. So a big play there for Houston. Gets the 1st down. They're very far from out of this game. They very well could end up coming back and tying this game up. That's still entirely possible. Single backfield for Houston. Plenty of time on the clock to score 2 touchdowns. But they're going to need their defense to step up like they did on the last drive. Hopkins catches it again inbounds, and that gets him close to midfield. As that put Hopkins over 70 yards receiving on the game. 4:48 to play, 3rd quarter. The Houston Texans very well could make some big plays here in this game. Those were back-to-back 1st downs. Single backfield. They fake the handoff. Looking. Has Hopkins again. And he gets it past the 25 to the 24-yard line. 3 straight Hopkins first down catches. That's how quickly this game changes. Both of these teams have weapons, and that puts Hopkins over 100 receiving yards on the day. And if you're a corner, how do you defend that? He's just such a talented receiver. You think he's going one way, he goes another, and there's a good defensive play. The Texans haven't been able to run the football almost all game, and you know, at this point, you might as well just pass the football on almost every play. It's working. But they will take a 2nd down and 12 after the 2-yard loss. As now Watson in the shotgun. Single backfield. Looking. Has time. And he had an open tight end. But he overthrew him. Bringing up a 3rd and 12. A field goal doesn't really help you all that much. It still remains a 2-possession game. I don't know if you go for it, though, in this situation. Or if you trust your defense to make a couple of stops. They really didn't do such a good job. And there's a couple of juke moves, and he gets it. And he crosses the first down marker. That's a first down. Wow. Duke Johnson made a couple of guys miss. And what looked like a 5-yard gain turned into a 14-yard gain, and they get the first down. What an unbelievable play. Look at making one guy miss. He made the second guy miss, and he gets tackled forward for the first down, and Houston has a fresh set of downs to work with. They throw to Hopkins, who gains about a yard on that one. Watson goes over 300 yards passing on the day. They need to get the ball in the end zone, in my opinion. I think at this point, you're within the 15-yard line. You got to take the risk. You've got to get to the end zone. You can still get the first down, though. Get the ball inside the 4, and you've got a fresh set of downs to work with. Houston single backfield. They hand the ball off. They have not been able to do much running the ball, and they only get a yard. Hyde has 5 runs, and only a yard has come from it. As 2:10 to go in the 3rd quarter, and counting once they get lined up. 3rd and 7. A first down here could be very, very beneficial for this Houston Texans football team, or at least a touchdown. And that one's incomplete. 4th and 7 from the 12. They'll probably kick the field goal. They've got the entire 4th quarter. However, a field goal doesn't really do you much good at this point in the game. But they will kick it. The question is, will they fake the field goal and pull a Chiefs? No. They kick it. It goes up. It's good. And it's an 11-point game once again in favor of Kansas City. That's their first point since the very beginning of the 2nd quarter. As Kansas City's defense has been able to shut down Houston's offense for the vast majority of the last quarter and a half. And, well, really the last 2 quarters. And now Patrick Mahomes warming up on the sideline after the fake field goal attempt. Could end up costing them the game, potentially, if Houston makes some good defensive effort. Makes a good defensive effort and gets the ball back. But here comes the Houston Texans. And there is the kick. Going deep. Taken at the 4. Takes it to about the 25-yard line. And Patty Mahomes and the Chiefs will take over at the 25. 1:44 3rd quarter. Chiefs lead by 11. There's Damian Williams, 17 yards rushing today. Both teams have not been able to run the ball at all whatsoever. And it is really probably impacted Houston more so than Kansas City, as Patrick Mahomes has played absolutely terrific football. So is Watson, but I think Watson relies a lot more on the play-action pass and getting the run game to open up the pass game. And Patrick Mahomes can just wing it 50 yards downfield to Tyreek Hill, so he doesn't really need the run game necessarily. But there is going to be the run game. And just as I say that, Williams breaks off about a 20-yard run to the 46-yard line. And a big play there for Kansas City, and that is not what you want to see if you're the Houston Texans. A big juke move on what looked like it was only going to be about a yard gain, and he picks up a lot more. Fakes the handoff and almost intercepted. Number 28 almost had that interception. That was very dangerous by Patrick Mahomes. And that's going to bring up 2nd down and 10. Shotgun. Single backfield. Hands the football off. And he doesn't gain anything. 3rd and 10. McKinney with his 6th tackle of the game. And now here comes the Chiefs. Big 3rd down here as the clock continues to run. Trying to avoid punting is Patrick Mahomes. Steps back, has time, looking deep down the field, and it's incomplete. Reed making the defensive play, and that's going to bring out 4th down. We saw that play earlier go for a huge gain. We also saw a similar play where Reed almost intercepted it, and this one was just great defense by Reed to get there right in the nick of time. Tyreek Hill had the ball in both hands, but the hit jars it free. And I think the Chiefs will punt the football away. And the 11-point game, Houston needs at least a field goal here. So great defense by Houston to stall out the drive for KC. And the ball goes out at the 20-yard line. And they will get the ball just as if they went out the back of the end zone. Just a solid kick there as Watson and the Texans offense looking to try and make something happen. They want to try and get in the end zone to get this game closer. But a field goal would at least make this a 1-score game if they can at least kick a field goal here. But we're about ready to start the 4th quarter in 18 seconds. We have about maybe 1 or 2 plays as Watson steps back, looking, and he takes off. And he passes the 1st down marker, and just like that, a 1st down for the Houston Texans. I believe that'll be the last play of the 3rd quarter. And indeed it will. So the Houston Texans, 16, the Kansas City Chiefs, 27. As you can see, the box score, the Texans avoided, look at that, 0 points in the 3rd quarter. However, the Chiefs' 2nd quarter domination has them ahead right now by 11. And the Houston Texans are going to need to score 11 more points, at least, than the Kansas City Chiefs in this quarter if they want to win this game. Single backfield. They hand the ball off, and a very, very short gain of about 3 will set up a 2nd and 7. Deshaun Watson has played really, really well. And they need to get at least a field goal, preferably a touchdown here, as 30 seconds have run off the clock so far in this quarter. Watson throws, gets it to Will Fuller, and he gets it to about midfield. 1st and 10. That puts Fuller at 70 yards exactly receiving as the Honey Badger makes the tackle. Excellent blocking on that play. Watson had plenty of time. I thought he was going to get sacked for a second, but they picked up the blocking. And no holding penalty as well really helps out as he sends his back out and will go into empty. Watson throws, almost intercepted. A good defensive effort there as he tries to get it to Hopkins, but fails to get it there, and that is going to bring up 2nd and 10. The Houston Texans from the 49-yard line of Kansas City. Single backfield for Watson. Snaps the ball, looking. Doesn't have a lot of time. Starts to run with it, and taken down after about a 3-yard gain. And that's going to bring up 3rd and 6. At the 46-yard line, the Houston Texans need 6 yards to get the first down. Single backfield. Stepping up. Almost taken down for a sack. Gets it out for 2 yards. And that's going to bring up 4th down and 4 from the 44-yard line. And I think they're going to punt the football. I don't know. Time is a big factor in this game. And oh, no. They're going to kick a 61-yard field goal because this worked really well last time. And it's deep. He made it! Oh my God, 61 yards, and Fairbairn from the other side of the field just made a 61-yard field goal. Wow, unbelievable. He must have had the wind or something, but regardless, that's an 8-point game as Fairbairn comes through in a 61-yard field goal. There have been very few, probably less than 20 kicks from over 60 yards in the history of the league that have gone through the uprights, but he hits it from 61. Wow, what a kick by Kyrie Fairbairn to put him within a 1-score game. And that's actually fantastic. If Houston has the wind, if they can get in the end zone and tie this game up, and it comes down to a field goal kicking, that means Kansas City's against the wind, which will make it very hard for them to kick field goals from that kind of range. But Fairbairn was able to kick it through the uprights from 61. I'm shocked. But the Chiefs have an opportunity here. It's an 8-point game. If they score any points, they make it a 2-possession game once again. So it's up to the defense. They hand the ball off here. He gets some space, and it'll be about 2 yards shy of the first down. 2nd and 2. A good run there, as both of these offenses are just so talented, so powerful. Very difficult to stop. This game is definitely, I like the intensity of this game, but the Chiefs do still hold a pretty decent advantage. Looking, throws. Gets it to Travis Kelce. And they tried to strip the football. And they get it to the 46-yard line. So that's not good news for Houston, as they have a fresh set of downs and the ball in your own territory. Not exactly what you like to see if you're Houston, but they line up with 3 receivers on the left side. Throws it, and that was brutal. And Houston's really trying to strip that ball out as they lose 3 yards, and a big tackle for loss there. As Cunningham gets his 8th tackle of the game so far. He's been all over the field. As 10:30 to go in the 4th and final quarter. Kansas City looking to host the AFC Championship game against the Titans. And a couple of big juke moves, and Watkins gets the first down. Some nifty moves by Sammy Watkins. Gets the ball for another first down. Look at that juke, and then this juke as well, and wow, what a play. As single backfield for Patrick Mahomes. Stepping back, has time. Looks over to Kelce, and he gets it out for about 9 yards. And that'll bring up 2nd down and 1. Kelce has 101 yards receiving on 9 catches. Has been a very, very important part of this Kansas City offense. I formation for KC. Throws over to his receiver, and he jukes backwards. But he does still get the first down. So I thought for sure that after the juke, he gave himself up backwards. He lost forward progress, but they do in fact get it. And maybe that's the home ref speaking, but when you juke backwards like that and you're not tackled backwards, you don't get that forward progress. And there's another LaShawn McCoy handoff, and Every time I watch this man run, I worry that he's going to fumble the football because he just the ball is just hanging out there. Look at him run. Like, the ball is just hanging out there. He touches anyone, that ball is flying in the opposite direction. Very fortunate that that hasn't happened in this game so far. Travis Kelce lined up in the slot. That is kind of scary. Throws it to the running back Williams, and he gets no yards on that one. 2nd and 10 from the 12. Houston really needs to try and force a turnover because with 8 minutes to go, a field goal here puts it an 11-point game again, and that is going to make it very difficult for Houston to get back into this game. Patty Mahomes in empty. Double tight end set, and he misses his target. I think that was more the receiver's fault than anything else. The ball bulleted in there. 3rd and 10. Kansas City has the ball at the 12-yard line. Another opportunity here for them to try and get in the end zone. In the shotgun, 27-19. And there's the blitz, and it's picked up, and a touchdown, Travis Kelce. And an extra point will put him up by 15. That's huge. That is a very big touchdown for Kansas City, as I think that very well might be the difference. And it's up, and it's good. 34-19 Kansas City, 7:37. Houston's going to need a little bit of luck if they want to win this game at this point. Not exactly sure what kind of dirt is on that guy's arm. But Kansas City does kick it up and good. And, you know, Houston came out here and they tried their best. They played a really good third quarter, but they just weren't able to get enough done offensively. And I think that the Kansas City Chiefs are just all around a better team, and they very well might go to the Super Bowl this year. They have to go through either Tennessee or Baltimore in real life if they do win this game. But in our Madden simulation, it's looking like Tennessee, as Tennessee did win the game against the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore. But the Chiefs, you got to make sure those higher seed teams, those home teams, get those wins sometimes, and I think that's what Madden did with this one. But the Kansas City Chiefs, 15 points. They're 9-point favorites in this game, and well, here come the Texans. They need a big play. Throws it over the middle, and that is a decent play considering they just got a 15-yard face mask penalty. So tack that on to the end of the catch, and that'll put them at almost midfield. So Houston has an opportunity here. Here comes Deshaun Watson. Shotgun. Single backfield. Nope, the back goes out to the outside. Watson steps back. Looking. Misses his target, and that'll bring up 2nd and 10. Houston needs a couple of big plays here. They need to get in the end zone, and they need to do it quickly, and then they need to stop Kansas City, use their timeouts. It's gonna be a tough one for sure. Looking, has time. Running with it is Watson. Jukes out a defender, gets past the 40, and to the 37-yard line goes Watson. A big run there. But with 7 minutes and counting, they need to get on the ball. They need to make something happen here, and they need to stop Kansas City on the next drive if they score a touchdown. If they don't score a touchdown, they're pretty much dead either way. They have to score a touchdown 100%. This is legitimately their last chance. They do not score a touchdown on this drive, they lose the game. Passes it over to his tight end who gains 2. Not exactly the most dynamic play in the world there as Fells goes for 2 yards. 2nd down and 8. Time continues to tick down. We're under 6 minutes in the 4th quarter of play. Houston in the shotgun. Steps back as Watson. Runs forward. And taken down for a sack by by Jones. I believe, what, Chris Jones? I think that's his name. And that is going to bring up 3rd and 9. 5.5 and counting in the final quarter of play. They need this first down. They cannot afford to take a field goal. Looking. Runs forward. And he's stopped. 7 yards is not enough. 4th and 2. 5 minutes. They have to go for it here if they want any chance of winning this game. What will the Texans do? This could be the game right here. If they fail, the game is over. Pistol. They're lined up. They're sending the house on this one. And they run the football. Terrible decision. And that's game. The Kansas City Chiefs are advancing to the AFC Championship game to host the Tennessee Titans, at least in our Madden simulation. We'll have to see how real life goes. But the Chiefs do win. The favored team, the team that was favored by 9.5 points. You know, 80% of people believe the Chiefs are going to win this game. And in the Madden simulation, it looks like they are. They throw it to Travis Kelce. Really don't need to be throwing the football at this point, as Patty Mahomes is almost at 400 yards passing. And I don't know what you do when Patty Mahomes plays this good. It's hard to win those games. But thank you guys so much for watching this episode. I hope you guys did enjoy. Make sure you guys like this video. Leave a comment. Subscribe. Leaving a comment. If you guys have made it this far in the video, I'd like to thank you guys so much for making it this far. It really means a lot to me. But I want you guys, with the playoffs coming to a close here, within the next couple of weeks, we're going to need some new Madden content for the channel. So what do you guys want to see? Do you guys have any suggestions you want to see? I was thinking of making an all-time NFL roster, having us do a tournament where all 32 teams play in a massive tournament to see which team would come out as Madden's best ultimate team. There's a nice little catch there. I'm surprised he caught that ball as they get 6 yards. I'm also thinking of doing like a 0 overall team, trying to take a team that has legitimately no overall points and trying to get them to the Super Bowl without actually playing any of the games. That's going to be one of the big keys, I think. Where we won't watch every single game. We'll just kind of watch the games that we feel are important and see how it goes. Throwing over the middle is Patrick Mahomes. And Tyreek Hill gets it all the way into the end zone. Touchdown. Really unnecessary touchdown, but Tyreek Hill does get in the end zone. And that'll put up 40 on the board for KC. This game was a lot closer than the scoreboard indicates on the field, but a garbage time touchdown for Tyreek Hill and the Kansas City Chiefs, and that'll put up a 41-point stat total for the Kansas City Chiefs in this football game. So according to Madden, the Chiefs will host the Tennessee Titans in the AFC Championship game, and the Minnesota Vikings will face who? Stay tuned tomorrow. You guys get to see which of the two teams, the Packers or the Seahawks, which of those two teams will make it to will host the Vikings. Can you imagine the Seahawks win that game and they host the Vikings as the number 5 seed? They host the Vikings. That would be absolutely incredible. as the 5 and the 6 seed would play each other in the NFC Championship game if Seattle wins, at least in terms of our Madden simulation. I'd love to see that. I think that would be really, really cool. I'm a fan of upsets. You know, I love college football. I'm a big college football fan. There's a lot of upsets that happen in college football, and just seeing those teams pull off the incredible upset wins is really, really entertaining, really, really crazy. It would be absolutely insane if the results of this game, if this Madden simulation were accurate. You know, both 6 seeds winning, you know, Kansas City being the exception to this point. We'll have to see if the Packers can join them as the other number 2 seed to win. But, you know, the Vikings beating the 49ers would be amazing. I have a lot of Notre Dame players on that team that I really like, including Harrison Smith and Kyle Rudolph, who made the game-winning touchdown against the Saints in that game. You know, it would be really, really cool to see. Obviously, I do like the 49ers as well. Nick Bosa is absolutely fantastic. Garoppolo, a former New England Patriot, was a terrific player for us. You know, there's a lot to like about the NFL right now. You know, the Patriots have been so good for so long. You know, it makes sense that the other teams are going to start coming up here, but I'd like to see us improve and move into the next game, or next season with some momentum. But I will say, you know, this game was pretty much down to the wire. You know, Houston had a lot of opportunities where they could have won this game, or, well, at least made this game closer. That the Chiefs defense and the Chiefs football team just came out and played better. And according to Madden, the Chiefs have 22 points on the Houston Texans. So we'll have to see if in real life the Kansas City Chiefs can get in and dominate this game quite as much as they did here in this one. But we'll have to see as Deshaun Watson stepping back, fakes the handoff, looks deep, and Fuller was double covered. And that's going to bring up 4th down. Minute 36 to go in the game. I think they might just punt it away. And the Chiefs, a big win here. So that's very, very good. And if you guys do want to see some crazy cool stuff, you guys can pick up the Blood Red series Beginning, a novel written by me. The link is in the description. It's a crazy, amazing novel about heroes from the 15th century who get transported to the future world and must save the world from an evil organization that has taken over. Very, very amazing book to read. It has not been professionally edited, so there might be a couple of grammatical mistakes, but the storyline itself is absolutely fantastic. And there will likely be more books in the future. I just need to have time to do them, and that's going to be one of the biggest issues until I graduate college here, hopefully by the end of the year. We'll see how that goes. Patty Mahomes has just really been in the zone pretty much all day. So they hand the ball off to LaShawn McCoy, who actually holds on to it this time, and he gets the first down at the 31-yard line. Well, for real-life football, I think a lot of people believe the 1 and 2 seeds will play each other on both sides, as all the home teams are favored by at least 4 points this week. The Seahawks game is Packers favored by 4. The Vikings are 6.5-point underdogs at San Francisco. And then both the AFC games are 9-point favorites for the Chiefs and the Ravens to beat Houston and Tennessee. And let me tell you, I mean, last week we saw some major upsets. The Vikings were the biggest upset, or the biggest underdogs of the week at 7.5-point underdogs, and they won against the New Orleans Saints in New Orleans. And there's the knee from Patrick Mahomes, and that is going to do it. So 41-19, the Kansas City Chiefs go to the AFC Championship game. We will likely be here next week. But we'll see. The Baltimore Ravens, heavy favorites against the Tennessee Titans. We'll see if we're perhaps in Tennessee or in Baltimore for this for a Chiefs game against the Ravens, but it was all Chiefs pretty much all game except the third quarter. And there you have it, folks. So thank you guys so much for coming out here. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts on this series, as well as let me know what you guys want to see done in Madden once we get to the off season. You guys want to see some challenge modes? Do you want to see some all-time team play? What do you guys want to see? But thank you guys so much for coming out here. I really do appreciate it. Make sure you guys check out previous games, as well as the Face of the Franchise mode if you guys did miss it, as we had Tim Tebow's Face of the Franchise mode and some really cool experiments for that. And we'll see you all next time.